Hi, Jacob. Hi, Jack. Hi, Jill. Waiting on one more. Jacob.
Hello. It's good to see you, Sharon.
It's good to see you, too.
Hey, Sharon. How's it going?
It's going so well. It's so good to see you guys. Hi. Do you go by Mary Claire or Meredith?
I go by
Meredith?
Mary Claire.
Mary Claire. Okay. Hi.
Yes.
All right. You guys can mute for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got everybody here. And it's 12:30 on the dot. I'll kick us off, and then we're going to let Olivia go first because she's got a meeting that's popped up on her calendar, so she's got to trail off about 1. So I'm going to start with Olivia, but I'm just going to just kind of introduce the room. Can everybody hear me okay? Virtually, can you guys hear me? Yep. You guys can hear them just fine. Every room is different. It really is. Like once I think I know one room, it changes. And so it's really fantastic to see all your beautiful faces. I've missed you so much. I hope that this semester has kicked off. I'm sure you're absolutely spinning with all of the things that you have to do. We always struggle to find time in your schedule to do important programming. Well, we think it's important programming to be able to put people in front of you, right? Educate you on different possible careers, on different possible lives, right, that you can think about during your time here. So I appreciate you investing this hour, right, because it's an investment. Time is money, right? And so thank you for being here. And so this is the first of a series of 5 lunch and learns that I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks. The next ones, they're going to be on most of them are going to be on Thursdays. There's a couple of exceptions. But the next one is next Thursday, the 28th, and it's around careers and financial services. And so I'm still working on commitments from alums, but for now I have alums from Ally Bank and Wells Fargo. Both of those alums are working out of those Charlotte offices. So I have some people from New York, maybe even some from the West Coast. So usually about 5 alums, not just in the business school, but we're also trying really hard. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Mary Claire, that are outside of the grad programs. And so you're going to hear from them. I think I've got Olivia is an undergrad history major, but she didn't come through the business school. And so we're trying to really expand our reach. And so look forward to some fun new topics to learn about coming up. So today, the way I'm going to structure the panel is I'm going to ask each panelist to introduce themselves, where they work, what their title is, describe the rotational program that they first did when they came out of business school or are currently doing, and then talk about, and we want to make sure we know your major and your program for now. Then we'll switch into talking through some specific projects that they're currently working on, and then we'll end my part of this with asking for them to give some advice on how they think you should approach rotational programs and recruiting. And so, like I said, Olivia has got to peel out for a meeting at 1 o'clock. So, Olivia, do you want to start us off? Tell us all about who you are, what your time at Wake Forest looked like, and what you're doing now.
Yeah, great. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Olivia. Great to be chatting with you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. So, yeah, I graduated from Wake in 2021, so a little over 2 years ago. I miss it dearly, and I was an art history and Spanish major. My program that I did after graduation was the GAP, Rotational Management Program. So just for a little bit of background, I guess, I would say I always kind of knew that I wanted to work in the retail industry in some way. I loved fashion, I loved product, kind of anything that went into the consumer's hands, and I was really fascinated by understanding what went into that process. So with my interest in fashion specifically, I kind of targeted this program at Gap, which is a 9-month training program with pretty focused rotations across inventory management and merchandising to really kind of get my feet wet in that industry. And originally in the summer of 2020, just kind of through networking and trying to get my foot in the door, I got an internship with Athleta, so going into my senior year of WAVE, which is within Athleta's within the Gap Inc. family of brands. And that was ultimately canceled due to COVID, but I was able to move on very quickly in the full-time interview process and ultimately took the offer on, I think, my first day of senior year. So I went through the 9-month program and I ended up in merchandising at Banana Republic Women's, where I helped run the dresses business. And then actually in June of this year, I began a new role at a different company. So I'm still in retail, but I'm actually in the grocery business, which is kind of new and exciting, more of a marketing-focused role and supporting loyalty partnerships. So kind of a little bit different. But yeah, that is a little bit about me, and I can just kind of talk about the program and what it involves and kind of some of the projects that you could expect to work on.
That would be great. First, before you dive into that, tell us where you are currently living.
I am currently based in the Bay Area, so I live in San Francisco.
So once you graduated from WAVE, you moved out to San Francisco to work for the Gap.
Yes, I'm actually from San Francisco originally, so moved home for me, but yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Tell us about the program at the Gap itself.
Yeah, so I would say the program is amazing if you're not completely sure what you're interested in, but you love fashion, you love retail, and you're business-minded and you want exposure to a lot of different functions. So I would say while there is a focus on inventory management and merchandising, you also get a lot of exposure to things like production, design, even styling. And the program is really kind of a combination of classes led by the program directors who are often ex-merchants, ex-planners themselves, as well as the 4-ish month rotations. So what you can expect is you'll probably rotate at 2 different brands within the Gap Inc. umbrella in 2 different categories. So for example, my inventory management rotation was Old Navy girls denim, and then I rotated with Athleta in women's outerwear, and then ultimately ended up at Banana Republic. So I've really had exposure to 3 different brands within the company, which I think is really amazing. So during the rotation itself, you basically work very closely with a buddy and a mentor in each rotation who will essentially assign you kind of real life projects that you can work on to help drive whatever category you're working on. And then, of course, you'll be involved in kind of the day-to-day cross-functional meetings, fittings, Monday business. So you really do become very integrated within your team for your 4 months. And then each rotation kind of culminates in a final project that you present and are evaluated on by Gap Inc. leaders. And it's basically building out, depending what your rotation is, but it basically focuses on either planning or building out an entire assortment from start to finish, which is really, really cool. And yeah,
go ahead and finish up.
I was just going to say, yeah, I think just kind of to understand what you do, what you can expect after the program. So after the 9 months, you ultimately interview and you'll get placed into the Gap Inc. family of brands in either merchandising or an inventory management role. And I believe that everybody is guaranteed a role, which is really exciting. So I ultimately joined the BR Women's team in merchandising and helped to run that category, which was really cool.
Very good. All right. And any questions for Olivia before we move on to the next? Remember, going to drop off at 1. No specific questions for Olivia? All right, Olivia, what kind of advice do you have for students who are interested in working for the GAP?
I would say if you're interested in getting exposure to the company, the rotational program is absolutely probably the best way to do it. I would also say if you choose to apply and it's something that you're thinking about and ultimately enter into, definitely, go, and I think this is probably true of any rotational program, definitely go in with an open mind and be really engaged with all aspects of it. Just enjoy the journey because it truly is a learning experience. And you may be really surprised by what you end up liking and not liking, also kind of what you learn about yourself, whether it's, a natural skill set for something or an area of opportunity. So I think that's really unique, and I think you'll also just kind of learn so much along the way, whether or not it's what you end up doing long term. Like for me, I've kind of made more of a switch into marketing, but I really value what I learned in the program. And I think it's also just a really great way to build an awesome network. I'm still very close with members of my cohort, mentors within the program, and talk to them all the time. So in that way, I think it's a really cool experience.
Awesome. Should students reach out to you on LinkedIn if they'd like to learn more?
Yes, sure. That's great.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Olivia. It's nice to meet you. This is the first time I've met Olivia. And I look forward to some more conversations with you in the near future. You can feel free to drop off now, or you can listen to Jack. We're going to move from retail into chocolate and all kinds of other foods there at Nestle. So Jack, you want to kick us off with your intro?
Sure. Hey everyone. Hope you're off to a good first semester. So I'm Jack. I was Wake Forest class of 21. I was in a business school, so I was a BEM major with a custom concentration. And I always really enjoyed finance and was finance-minded, but didn't really know which specific area of finance I wanted to get into. I had internships in wealth management, the financial advisory side, and didn't love it, and I wasn't particularly interested in the whole banking sector. So, when I was looking for job opportunities, I saw this role at Nestle, which is, a whole rotational finance program, offering exposed to me to 3 completely different areas of finance within, a large multinational CPG company. I was really interested, and, after going through the interview process and getting an offer, I accepted it. This was started a little over 2 years ago, so I'm actually still in the rotational program. It's a bit longer, so it's a 3.5-year program overall with 3 different rotations. The first rotation is 18 months long, and the second and third rotation are a year long. So instead of, having, 4 or 5 months, you actually are in a full-time role for a year, actually a year and a half, which has its pros and cons, but certainly allows you to get a lot more out of each role, and it takes a long time to develop that in-depth understanding of each area of the business. So I've had a great experience so far. The first rotation was in operations finance, so I actually worked at a frozen foods factory in South Carolina, a couple hours from Wake. We made Stouffer's mac and cheese and lean cuisine, if you've heard of those. Got to eat plenty of mac and cheese when I was there. Some pear mac and cheese as well. But the whole point of being there is to, understand the manufacturing process, calculate and report on our total cost of production. So think about labor, materials, energy, and any sort of overhead costs that go into making a tray of mac and cheese. It did a lot of different really cool cost savings projects, designed to reduce waste in the manufacturing process and make the company more profitable overall. So I love my time there. And about 9 months ago, I moved up to Washington, D.C., where I'm now for my second rotation. And I'm currently doing financial accounting and reporting. So more of your classic corporate finance, FP&A. We prepare the full half-year, consolidated financial statements that we issue on the London Stock Exchange. helped support 2 debt issuances within the past 6 months. I've worked on quarterly and month-end reporting, balance sheeting, statement, cash flow reporting, a lot of that stuff. So definitely a big change from the factory, but learning a ton about the company as a whole. And then I will be transitioning to my 3rd rotation in just a couple months, which will be on the divisional finance side. So I'll actually be the owner of a P&L for certain Nestle brands, whether it's Stouffer's or Coffee Mate, or any of those. And you're really working cross-functionally with sales and marketing, demand and supply planning, inventory planning, to drive profitable growth for the brand. So it's 3 totally different areas of finance, but through the 3 of them, you get a true end-to-end understanding of the business, starting from the base, which is, manufacturing that food product, and then you get more exposure to commercial and brand finance as well as traditional FP&A.
That's amazing. Like my career services heart is going pitter pat listening to all of that. How did you find out about the rotational program there at Nestle, and what did the recruiting process look like?
So I found it on Handshake. Just going through with my career coaches at the time at Wake, and it popped up. And it was really interesting. I think I had a few initial phone interviews, and then because it was COVID, we had a virtual super day. I think it was about 2 days long, and it was actually really interesting because instead of just being interviewed the whole time, we had a whole food tasting session, and we got a lot of different speakers from the company itself. The CFO came on and spoke to us, and we got to network with a bunch of people currently in the program. So I think the whole interview process really got me excited to join, and I've really enjoyed it ever since.
Have you found any more dean and deacons there at Nestle? There are a few.
There are a few, not a lot. There's actually one on my floor here down the hall, but those who are here, I've got in touch with them.
Very cool. And how do you like living in the Washington metro area?
I love it. So I'm originally from Boston. I'm a city guy. I love my time at Wake, and then I was down in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is a bit of a smaller town. So I really enjoy being back in the city scene.
Very cool. Very cool. We do a lot of things. We have a lot of dean and deacons there in the Washington metro area, and so be on the lookout. Hopefully, the business school will be up there soon to do some things.
Definitely. We had a good Wake watch party for the first football game, so seeing plenty of alumni.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a bit. So in case you guys didn't know, Washington, D.C. is in the top 5 cities with Wake Forest alumni. Who can guess? I'll bet you a piece of pizza if somebody can guess what the number 1 city of Wake Forest alum, the biggest population. Charlotte? No. New York? No, but those are on the top 5. One more.
Atlanta?
Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So the medical school is also included on that, and law school, right? So interesting. So it's Winston-Salem, Charlotte, D.C., New York, and Atlanta. Those are the top 5. Thank you, Jack. Any questions for Jack? All right, let's move into health insurance, one of my personal favorite topics. But one of my favorite people, Joe Crichton, is going to tell us all about Cigna, and he just started his rotational program. So, Joe, you're up.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm happy that I could speak to you all. Hopefully I can provide some valuable information. Probably not. So I did my master's at Wake. So I did my undergrad at the University of Kansas, and I was also not that Jack was a finance major, but I was a finance major, and so I kind of had a similar experience. I didn't love kind of the options I had for finance. And so I went to Wake, I did the MSBA program, really enjoyed everything I did there. And I came across Cigna also through Handshake. I had like a call set up with, her name is Stephanie Delaney, but she ended up being the person that interviewed me, and she also went to Wake. But we kind of just chatted, and she told me a little bit about what she does at Cigna, and I just kind of liked what I heard, and went through the process and got the offer in like November and accepted it, and I'm really happy that I did. As Sharon said, like I'm pretty new, so in terms of like day-to-day stuff, I don't have a lot of experience yet, but I can definitely, I mean, in terms of recruiting, that's all fresh in my mind still, so happy to answer questions about that. There's also 3 other MSBA grads that were in my class that were hired on, so that's pretty cool. We communicate a lot, and we aren't on the same teams right now, but we get together on WebEx and chat a lot and kind of talk about how things are going. But so the process of how it works at Cigna for, I guess I should say the program I'm in is the Analytics Leadership Development Program, and it's a 5-year rotational program, so it's pretty long, and it's 18-month rotations. So the way it works is you communicate with people within the organization when you're first hired on, and kind of sort of network and get to know different managers and stuff, and then you kind of rank your area of interest, and then they also rank the conversations that they had. And that's how the first rotation is paired. So I currently am working with provider contract and network analytics, and basically all that is I'm working with a small team to understand the network of providers that Cigna works with and help them understand the spend that the providers have in certain geographical areas, and we help get to baseline rates for contract negotiations. So it's a cool experience. I definitely have a lot of like responsibility early on. Coming from a master's program, it's definitely expected, and I definitely appreciate that because I want to reach above what I'm capable of doing and continue striving for that. So I definitely like to see that as an opportunity here. But the next rotations, the idea is that with each rotation, you have more and more leadership responsibilities so that when you're out of the program in 5 years, you're in a position of high-level leadership. And I think I think rotational programs are unique in that there's a very accelerated path for growth. I think sometimes, I mean, not that I have the experience with this, but I think sometimes if you're just hired on into a company, it's harder or it's less clear about how you will grow within the company. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about with this program is there's a clear-cut way for me to grow within the company.
What kind of technology do you use there? Like what kind of skills do you think you need to have in order to be competitive just to get an interview for this rotational program? Are you pretty heavy in analytics and in coding, or is it tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So for my specific program, they're looking for students that have that strong analytics background. The program I'm in is a master's only program, so first and foremost, you have to be pursuing your master's degree. But in terms of technology and tools that I'm using, so far I'm in a more business analytics role, I guess, than like a data science role. So for me, I use Excel, a good amount of SQL, and some R because we're doing some like predictive modeling and stuff. But another student that graduated with me at Wake, Adam, he's in a more technical role. He's in the data engineering side of things, so he does a lot of stuff in Python. So I think to prepare for my role specifically, and I tell people this a lot, like Wake prepared me really well for the interviews and stuff. Like everything I needed to know for the interview, I honestly learned from Wake. They don't necessarily want you to be like the most technical person, like a master coder or whatever. They're more looking for people that are willing and able to learn those skills. Because like a development program should be, you're going to develop skills along the way. And if you can prove within the hiring process that you're capable of learning new information, I guess new technical information, that's probably the best thing that you can do.
All right, Joe, I noticed I didn't get a chance to talk to you at the career fair, but I saw you and Ethan. Was that group that was here for the career fair just recruiting for this program? Because I'm very familiar with Cigna has a lot of rotational programs. Like they probably have more offerings than any other company that does business here at Wake Forest. Were they recruiting for more of their, like their managed care rotational program? That's just one that pops in. I know they have an HR rotational program.
Oh yeah, we're recruiting for everything. They sent the three of us. I don't know why. I think because we're all local. We definitely couldn't vouch for those programs super well because we just started and we're in our own program. I'm still trying to understand what my program is. So, but we absolutely are hiring for a lot of different programs. You named a few. There's also a tech development program for undergrads. There's a bunch of internship opportunities. Stuff I can't necessarily name off the top of my head.
They should all be in Handshake, right?
Absolutely, yeah, they should be.
Okay, good. If any of you are interested in some of those non-technical rotational programs that Cigna has, then please reach out to me because we've worked with students in, I know the MSM and business undergrad, students who've gone into those programs, and we can connect you with people who can give you more information. Best advice, Joe, for these students as they're thinking about what's next. Most are MSBA students with some sprinkling of MSM students. Maybe an undergrad.
Best advice. I mean, if I had to go back, I think the most important thing for me was just locking in school. I think if you take care of that first, that makes everything so much easier. If you just spend the time you need on your classwork, like I said in the interview, at least for me, everything I did at Wake and learned was what I needed to know for the interview. So if you just focus on school, you'll set yourself up for success. In terms of looking for things that you're interested in, just network. I mean, there's a lot of people at Cigna that want to talk to potential candidates, I guess, and we're truly motivated to do that. So reach out to people on LinkedIn. Super friendly. If you want to reach out to me, I can steer you in the right direction if it's a program that I'm not a part of. But I think if you have an interest in healthcare, definitely network, because I think that's the first step to hopefully working with us.
And I will say, insurance is not the sexiest, coolest thing out there, right? Right? It's not. But it's not going away. Okay? So you hear about all these shrinking markets. Consulting is going down. Banking is going down. Technology, you can't get a job in technology at all, right? You can always get a job in insurance. Again, not the sexiest, coolest industry to be in, but one that's never going to go away. And one that's very, very complicated, right? And it needs smart people like you to help them uncomplicate it for not smart people like me. All right, so a little plug there for the insurance industry. Another thing that's not going away is dental work. And so, Mary Claire, tell us, this one's a new one for me, just new recently because this company hired an MSBA student last year in the marketing rotational program. I found Mary Claire just doing my own sleuthing on LinkedIn. So tell us all about your time here at Wake Forest and what you're doing now with Dental Supply Company.
So I'm Mary Claire West. I graduated from Wake undergrad in 2022. I was a medical business major, so undergrad business major. I found Dental Supply. Actually, Wake is one of their heavily, their point of contact schools. They come to the career fair. I was at the career fair last week, and I met the Dental Supply reps at the career fair my senior year. Prior to what I'm doing now, I had worked for a hospital, so doing healthcare related work, and then before that I worked for Century, which is they handle insurance companies. So I was interested in dental supply because, like Sharon said, it is focused on dental supplies and the med tech industry. It's, again, not going anywhere. And the rotational program that I've applied into is 3 years. I've completed my first rotation, and I'm now in my second rotation. What I like about the Dentsply program is it's very, I guess, interactive. I know Olivia had said hers was very structured. Ours, you're able to talk to the program managers about what you're interested in, and then obviously, if there's not a role open for the year that you're rotating, you can't go into that area. But they're very, they're very good at finding roles for you in what you're interested in. So last year, coming into the program, I worked on Dentsply is moving a lot of their projects into the digital world, so we have a lot of printers and that sort of thing that like print out like implants and teeth. So part of that is having a cloud-based system to connect to that, and we're selling that on a subscription level. So think about like Netflix, Amazon, it bills you monthly, which Dentsply had never done anything like that before. I also had never done anything like that before. That it was just like a monthly subscription cost. So I worked on setting up the IT system that made sure that the customer was getting billed monthly, that their invoices were going through monthly, and also worked with the accounting team on the back end, looking at what their like accounting books would look like, since all of our other products are just one transactional things, but this was billing again monthly. What I'm on now is a completely different project. Not analytical at all. I'm actually a project manager now. Dentsply, it operates in like hundreds of different countries. It's a very global company. And right now we've acquired a ton of companies in the past like 10 years, and they're all on different ERP systems. So right now I'm on a project to consolidate the whole corporation into one ERP system, and I'm working again as a project manager. So I'm working with lots of different people within the organization, and it's really great exposure.
Super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool experience, gosh. ERPs, any kind of experience that you can have working on those types of platforms is super helpful. And so you broke up and you said it's a 3-year rotational program?
Yeah, it's 3 years.
And so
Finance and IT, which is what we're actively recruiting for on Handshake, is 3 years. We have a marketing, supply chain, and R&D development program also that is 2 years, but the HR hasn't posted those applications yet. But actively we're recruiting for finance and IT, which is 3 years.
and you're in Charlotte, is that right?
Yes.
Are all these programs based out of Charlotte?
Yeah, so as of right now, all the rotations are based in Charlotte. If there comes an opportunity, like we've had people from like Germany come to the Charlotte office with the headquarters for a rotation. We have like European rotational programs too. So if it becomes an opportunity that we can offer a rotation in Europe, that is something that the program has talked about, but it hasn't happened yet. But it's definitely, there's a lot of opportunity to travel at Dentsply since it's such a global company.
And are you in Valentine?
Yes, yeah.
Does anybody know Valentine neighborhood in Charlotte? So bougie, so nice. It's not uptown Charlotte. It's just, I guess, about 7 or 8 miles out of uptown.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 miles out of uptown. They're building like a new plaza right outside our office that's like an amphitheater and a brewery. It's like a little like city plaza for Valentine. It's also right across the street from the Valentine Hotel if you're familiar with the area. It's very nice.
Super duper nice. And so another company that has recruited from Wake Forest is Credit Karma. They're in the same area, or the same business park, I guess you can say, as Dentsply. And we were able to visit them. I looked over outside the window and I saw the Dentsply logo up on a building. I'm like, oh, this is nice. And so I'm sure the office. Tell us about the office there. I'm not.
Yeah.
Sure what's the office?
Like I said, the global headquarters is like the office that we would be working in Charlotte. So like the CFO, CEO, all the executives sit in that office. You also get a lot of visitors from other offices into that office since it's like the main headquarters. I think that's one of the things that makes the program super cool is since you're in the main headquarter building, we have a lot of exposure and access to the CEO, CFO, and other management committee members. And they definitely make the priority to do like lunch and learns or happy hours with the emerging talent program, which is we also have interns, but the interns are the rotational participants.
Awesome. Best advice for students as they're thinking about what's next?
I would say keep an open mind. I definitely, like I said, a lot of my internships were very like not dental based, but like more like other medical supplies based. The dental ball came out of like left field, I guess, but it's like the same kind of work. So keep an open mind about the kind of jobs you're applying for, and just don't exclude any jobs from your mind because it's not exactly what you're looking for. Because I couldn't be happy for what I was applying to.
You can tell. I can tell in the career fair that you love it. I can tell that you all love it, but Mary Claire, right? I'm going to get that right.
Yeah.
She even reposted. I posted something on. I sent it to you on email, right? I sent the promotional thing on email to the panelists. She reposted it on LinkedIn and encouraged people to attend, right?
Yeah, like I said, Wake is definitely one of the target schools that we're looking for applicants for the program. So I definitely encourage you to apply, and also you can reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions.
Yeah, awesome. All right, any questions for her? All right, let's move into what everybody hated, banking. Jacob. He's in the throes of it.
Yeah, so banking, I work with Truist here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I originally got my undergrad degree from NC State with a Bachelor of Science in Economics, and then in 2021 graduated from Wake with my MSBA, similar to Joe. So I started out actually in a rotational program. That's why we're here. At Truist, it's called the Leadership Development Program. It's one of the many rotational programs we have. However, it's the one that I would steer most business students towards. There's 3 different tracks. I was part of the enterprise track. That is holistic, everything across the financial services that we do, the banking world. So there's a technology innovation program if you're super techy, like to code, or if you want to go into more of the data engineering, data science roles. And then there's also a more financially focused track. So when I first was looking, I never thought I would go and join a bank. Financial services were not top of mind for me whatsoever, even with economics in my background. I don't know a lot of finance. I work for a bank and could not tell you left or right when it comes to that stuff. The financial services world is way bigger than you think it is. The roles are endless and there seems to always be something new going on. I personally work in our product space, in our wholesale payments sector. And so wholesale payments is how we actually move the money between different banks, companies, if you have a corporate card, anything commercially focused. And I lead our digital analytics for our digital products in that commercial space. So anything with money movement. So my official title is Senior Digital Product Analyst. I got that out of the rotational program. What's nice is that the rotational program is only 11 months. You guys were saying 3-5 years, and I was a little shocked to be frank. I think 11 months was really good for me, at least. I really wanted to dive in and kind of get to working. For me, and here at Truist, the rotational program, in many respects, is a very handheld program. You're going to go through 4 rotations. 2 of them are going to be a quarter long, bigger projects. You'll be bounced around the bank, but you're always with a mentor. You always have great exposure. At the end of each rotation, you present personally in person with whatever chief executive that you're rotating with that go ahead. So I ended up getting to rotate and meet with sort of our CFO and then eventually our wealth officer. You get a lot of exposure and visibility, but at the same time, especially for someone who's never been in the financial services industry where it is so big, it is so complex, they hold your hand through it in a amazing way so that you never feel lost, you get acclimated, and it gives you a nice little boost into sort of your career. So from there, I jumped to my current role, where now, like I said, I lead a lot of the analytics, data requests for the products I work with in the commercial space, as well as I lead the development of our internal data analytics for our newest platform that we are building internally, set to deploy probably the next 3-4 years.
Wow.
So I'll pause there.
Yeah, very
Sharon,
cool.
what's the next question?
Yeah, next question is how did you learn about the Truist rotational program? And he's one of our COVID babies, right? He started the program online. I don't think I actually ever saw his face until, were you even at commencement in the gym?
Yeah.
So that was the first time I saw Jacob, the whole time he was here. So how did you, in that climate, right, how did you learn about Truist and what was the recruitment process like?
Yeah, so like Sherry said, it was COVID. So I think we were only in the classroom maybe twice a week for maybe an hour of the day. And things were a lot different then with hiring and interviews. And I know Sharon knows the struggle of kind of what that was like. So at least for me, I think I developed a lot of great skills there from doing that. I found the program through LinkedIn, sort of just scouring jobs. I feel like every day I spend at least 15 minutes looking for a job, trying to find a role that kind of felt good to me, fit, and kind of worked from there. Handshake was an awesome resource. I found a lot of interesting positions through there, but for this one, I found it on LinkedIn and kind of went through there. The actual process was fairly simple. It's still very similar today. I'm often a part of that Super Day interview series for a lot of our candidates. And so depending on if you can, it can be virtual, it can be in person, but it usually consists of one sort of case study. And when I say case study, that worries a lot of people. More just to see how you're thinking. The actual answer doesn't matter. Just to see your thought process, see you approach your problem, and then of course behavioral. So there's two sort of just introductory interviews, and then it usually leads to the Super Day. And so for me, it was all virtual, but at the same time, I kind of, before all that, was able to kind of reach out to a lot of people. Everybody's very friendly, very happy to kind of use some advice before those interviews.
Are you in Uptown Charlotte in they call it the Innovation Center? Super fancy.
I actually am. Yeah, this is my floor, the 14th floor, the Technology Innovation Center, brand new, real fancy. It's a beautiful space. We have Amazon here, we have Microsoft, we have Verizon co-working spaces that we sponsor here in our floor. So an awesome place to be. You never know who you're going to see walking through the door day to day.
Very cool. Any questions for Jacob? All right. Sure. Can you hear Rebecca okay, guys?
What sort of flexibilities did you all have in your rotational positions?
Did y'all hear that? What kind of flexibility did you have in your rotational positions? Like flexibility, dive in deeper to that, like
in benefits and your personal choices.
Okay, like work-life balance, flexibility. Okay, just flexibility.
Yeah. At least you're a Truist with the rotational programs. Melissa Early, who sort of leads the enterprise program, interns here, super flexible. You can be here in Charlotte for the program, which is preferable. We can be in Atlanta, we can be in DC, a lot of our locations. And for your rotations, you're going to have to do 2 sort of mandatory audit and risk rotations, because that's a big part of Truist is risk and audit in the financial services industry. But for whatever you're interested in, they take that into account and input it. And so flexibility-wise, I've never personally worked longer than 6 p.m. here, and that is very rare. It's a very 9 to 5 for me, and especially within the rotational program, is a mandated 9 to 5. You're mandated 40 hours a week. If you work over that, they have to pay you extra, and they don't want to do that normally. So they kind of cap you. So work-life balance is great within the program. If they send you anywhere, all expenses are paid. The work you do and the teams you're usually paired with are super flexible. As long as you get your work done and that you're able to stay focused and get done what needs to get done in a timely manner, no one bats an eye. At least that's been my experience here at Truist and within that program.
So you were a full-time employee when you started with Truist, and you
Correct.
paid hourly,
Correct. So
and you had full benefits, full medical,
Correct,
yeah,
yep.
full employee.
medical,
Full-time employee.
401, full employee, but you were capped at certain hours for leadership development program. And I think a lot of that was because if you're getting into this program, and I'm sure for many of you who are here, you're a high achiever, you want to do more, and you want to always hit the ground running, you do that extra mile and show that you can do it. And that's not always a good thing for your work-life balance, and they certainly don't want you to get burned out for XYZ. So they try and keep you balanced, just sort of with your work, but also learning the culture, learning how to be in the financial service industry within our footprint. There's a lot of different elements, and I want to balance that and make sure you don't get overloaded.
Mary Claire, same question for you. What's the flexibility like? And most of these programs are going to be full pay benefits. Like, they're not internships or contract roles where you're not considered a full-time employee.
Yeah, I would say it's the same as what you're saying, where full-time employees have full benefits, have all the normal things that any other full-time employee would have. In terms of flexibility, I'm able to work from home or from the Charlotte office as much or as little as I want, which is super nice. There is no mandate. I will say a lot of the rotational participants do come in because you learn a lot more from coming in, and also a lot of the managers that you're assigned, especially for your first and second rotations, are also in Charlotte. So you learn a lot better than that coming into the office, but that is an option for you. There's flexibility there. In terms of picking rotations, like I said, the first year you're kind of assigned just because they don't really know you or your interest. I guess they can pick that up from the interview, but it's assigned. But in terms of second and third year, they give you a listing of open positions that are taking rotational associates, and you're able to rank your top 3 or 5 depending on how many there are, and they place you from there. So there is a little bit of flexibility with what rotation you'll get assigned to too.
Jack, tell us about Nestle flexibility.
I echo what Marie Claire said. There's a bunch of flexibility in terms of rotations. I think so. First rotation, your role is going to be fairly similar across wherever you are because you're going to be in a manufacturing setting. But you get to preference which area of the country you want to be in, right? Because Nestle has locations on West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, South. So you can preference one of those and you'll be placed there. The second rotation, there's, I think, a list of close to 20 different options. Anything from, I'm doing financial reporting, there's supply chain, there's strategic pricing, really all over finance. You can, preference your top 3, you'll get one of those choices. And then for the third rotation, again, you're on a certain brand, so your role is going to be fairly similar across all the brands, but you can choose which brand you want, which location you want. So there's a good amount of flexibility there. And yeah, again, it's full-time paid, full benefits. So there's a good amount of flexibility. First rotation, when you are in the factory, you're going to be required to be in person most days just because that's where the action happens, right? You get just way more of being there, being present, and seeing, food get made. And right now, it's about half and half in the corporate world, so 2 or 3 days in the office a week.
Very good. All right, Joe. What's it like there at Cigna? Are you working 100% remote?
Yeah, I'm 100% remote. I think for this year they're not doing that. They've kind of recently changed their future of work policy and they want people in office. So for me, after this rotation, since I was hired on as remote, I can stay like this. But after my first rotation, they kind of want me to be in office. We actually have an office in Valentine. So I've gone there a couple times just because I get tired of standing in my room. But so flexibility wise, it's for the rotations, it's very flexible. Your first rotation, I think I sort of discussed this earlier, you connect with people in the organization under the analytics umbrella. and then sort of just rank the area of work that you like find the most interest in. And then that's kind of how we're assigned for our first rotation. After that, though, it really is kind of up to you in a way. I mean, you want to network with people in the organization who work in areas of interest to you, and if you can build a connection when you're a couple months out from ending your first rotation or whatever rotation you're on, you can sort of reach out to them and be like, hey, is there a spot on your team for me? I'd love to work with what you all are doing. So it's very flexible in that way. I guess one downside is it's on you. I wouldn't say that's a downside though, because I don't know, I personally would rather have the freedom than be told what to do. For work-life balance, it's great. I also am kind of just strict 9 to 5. I work from home, so it's nice. Right at 5, my day is mine. I think it's pretty rare that they have people working past 5 o'clock. The only way that I would probably work past 5 is if it was up to me, like if I wanted to get ahead on something, but it's definitely not like expected out of you. They're not going to work you into the ground. So it's very flexible, I guess, in that way.
And so you've got to go into after this rotation, remote's gone away.
Yeah, and the people that we're hiring now don't have the remote option, at least for my program.
I'm concerned with Adam. I know he really liked that part of the program.
Yeah, no, he's going to have to figure that out.
Okay, all right. We might have time for one more question. Does anybody else have a question that you're dying to ask? Awesome. We'll connect with these. Yes, Amy. This is Amy Viola. She's a program manager for MSM.
So, what do you wish you would have known when you were these students in their seats? Like, is there anything you wish you would have known then that would have helped you along the way?
Jay, we'll start with you since you're on.
Yeah. I think, like, I went to the career fair, I remember last year, and I was kind of nervous. I was worried about asking the wrong thing. I was worried I wasn't going to impress the people that were there. I think one thing that I wish I would have known, and I know this was told to me, but I just didn't fully understand it until I'm on this side of things. The people that are recruiting you and that are like speaking to you about jobs, like, don't feel pressure speaking to them. They want you to feel comfortable. They want to engage with you in the best way they can. It's almost worse if you are uncomfortable, because then it's uncomfortable for them. Like, no one wants to be uncomfortable, right? So just go into your conversations with confidence and like know that they want to be there and want to have those conversations.
They want to talk to you. That's why they're there, right? They want to talk to you. Okay, Jacob, same question. What do you wish you would have known?
Yeah, I'll give 2 answers here. One for the recruiting side, when you're applying to these roles, is do your research. I'm sure sharing company, they'd love to tell you that, but at least here at Truist, we're really big on our purpose, mission, values. Understand kind of the culture that your company's kind of has if you're applying to, and they'll put it on the website. A lot of places like to sell that to you. So that's one. And second, what I wish I knew sort of when I was still a student, but also in my role now even, is you don't know what you don't know. No one expects you to know everything. You're going to continually learn throughout your career, throughout your time as a student, and getting frustrated at not knowing something or wanting to know it all right away. It's impossible to do, and it just doesn't help. So don't be embarrassed if you don't know something, if you got something wrong. Use it to learn, be a sponge, take it all in, and grow from it.
Awesome. Mary Claire?
Yeah, so I'll echo a little bit with what Joe said. When I was going to career fair, also I was very nervous talking to recruiters and current employees. And going to the career fair last week, I was thinking, I don't know why I was so nervous, because these people are really excited to talk to you and also like want to share your company. So don't be nervous about that. And then also, once you do start your career and you're in a job, on the flip side, don't feel nervous about talking to your managers and asking them questions, because it's more important to ask questions than to just not know what's going on and do something that you could have done better if you just asked a question.
That's being good. There's an art to asking really good questions. That's great advice. All right, Jack, wrap us up. What do you wish you would have known?
I think the biggest thing for me is just don't put pressure on yourself to think about, all right, I know what I want to do in my career exactly. I know I was around a lot of people at Wake who, had it figured out, or so I thought, in terms of this is my career path. And I had just no idea, right? And that's kind of the point of a rotational program, is to figure out, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and just learning about different areas of the business and finance, and you really get to understand more of what it's like, because, until you get out in the world, you just don't really have a good understanding of that. So don't put too much pressure on yourself as an undergrad or undergraduate program to, have that perfect career path and have to follow that.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time, Jack. It's just kind of stay in your own lane. It's really hard to do when everybody's getting interviews and everybody's getting jobs and you still don't have it figured out. It is okay. It's okay. And not going to put that pressure on yourself. So couldn't have teed that advice up any better if I would have planted it in him. So thank you guys so much. I am so very grateful for you to spend this time with us. So everyone in the room, connect with these panelists. If you registered, I know a couple of you came in your QR code. I know Cleve and this man here. I'm going to send you their contact information as well as a very comprehensive list that Cheryl has put together of many different rotational programs, not just the ones that are represented here today. Or we would be here for a week talking to people about them. So I'll follow that up today, maybe tomorrow, with a really great list. Sound good? All right. So wait. Yes, thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon. If you haven't stand in, please stand in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Financial services is next week. And we went into CLDP 6 minutes. So the very first person that suggests that you reach out to, she's been there a while. She did that. Her name is Kristen. Oh, you spoke with Kristen? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. And then Janelle, I was trying to get to do this, and she's on her name.
Yeah, I might have reached out to her, but Christian changed when I got grade.
Janelle just graduated.
Okay, I tried to connect with Cheryl.
So if you need their email addresses, I'll give this guy.
I reached out, I have not responded. And I spoke to him last week.
Yeah. So I have email addresses. If you'll send me an email, I'll see if they're work email addresses.
Yeah, even so Christian and I spoke to
Just saying, have a time tell about the program that you're interested in. See if she can provide any kind of guidance. Yeah, Nathan might be your best call there.
yeah, I reached out, like, Christian, yeah, I know.
You can reach out on LinkedIn.
I definitely also spoke to the class, I'm official as I'm supposed to I think I just missed him. He just made like this there, but I don't know what it was.
He's local. He lives here.
I know. That's why I'm